morning. Welcome to Prosecution. Let's have our seats, please.
And so my colleague Joshua Mbeki is here, and me, my name is Zephania Achapa. Zephania Achapa. We hold brief for Mr. Phil Mayo, and we represent the accused person, the suspect, rather.
Here is a notice of motion dated 21st of July 2025 under supporting affidavit dated the same day.
Yes. Notice of motion.
Dated 21st of July 2025.
If I may.
My lady, you objecting to that?
So let's see her finish.
Okay, no problem.
My lady, notice of motion dated 21st of July 2025 and supporting affidavit signed by Corporal Bernard Mwange, sworn on the same date. My lady, we are seeking orders to hold the respondent at Kilimani Police Station for 21 days to enable DCI homicide to complete investigations in this matter. My lady, this application is grounded on the following issues. The applicant is investigating a matter that occurred on 17th July 2025 of Edward Mainge Dego at Kenyatta National Hospital. It is on page 2 of our application.
Yes.
My lady, current investigations have linked the respondent to having had contact with the deceased.
Your Honor, I think we can't object.
Wait, let her finish, then you can respond. Because it's what she's saying is already in the application. I believe you have the application.
We are reading there verbatim as she's going through, but there's nowhere that's saying that she is here. Nothing has actually happened.
And I think you should be able to
Let's
finalize.
Then you can respond. Yes.
Your Honor, the investigating team has just started investigations, as this matter was reported on 17th of July. That a postmortem is yet to be conducted on the body of the deceased. That we require DNA samples from the respondent to compare with the blood samples found at the scene. That current investigations and information provided identified the respondent as a person of interest in this matter. My lady, the respondent in this matter was arrested on 18th July. And taken to Kilimani Police Station, my lady. That the respondent in this matter is also a person of interest in another matter that occurred on 6th and 7th February 2025, which was also under investigation and had him as a key person of interest.
The other matter occurred
6th, on the night of 6th to 7th July 2025, which had identified the respondent as a person of interest. My lady, we're requesting for those 21 days as a respondent has been a patient at Kenyatta Hospital and currently has no place of abode. And if released, is likely to abscond and would not be able to get in. In addition, as he has been a patient at Kenyatta National Hospital, he is well known and likely to interfere with our investigations, including the recording of statements from key personnel who are there on the 17th of July. We are also apprehensive of his mental state as he's being treated for various ailments at Kenyatta National Hospital. And will require a secure place to place him, considering he has been identified as a person of interest in 2 matters. And then we are yet to have a mental assessment conducted. And we require time for the court to do that for the investigators to carry out that matter. And lady, it is important to note that the respondent has been at Kenyatta National Hospital since November 2024. it is no longer safe to place him there due to the two incidences that have occurred, the safety to other vulnerable witnesses and patients, and the security issues that are raised because of the incident that is still fresh on the minds. My lady, considering that this happened at Kenyatta National Hospital with vulnerable patients and access to medical facilities could be impeded, it is allowed to stay there. My lady, we therefore request that you grant us 21 days in addition to what my colleagues will also add.
Further to the submissions made by my colleague, Your Honor, it is evidence that at this level, and owing to the date when the offence was committed, time to complete the investigation. The investigation we are talking about here is recording witness statements from other patients and also medical staff. Your Honor, there is also need to preserve and analyze the forensic evidence owing to the gravity and the severity of this offense. There is a DNA which is pending to be conducted. At the same time, the investigating officer needs to reconstruct the scene and establish the sequence of the events. And therefore, it is not possible for the said respondent to go back to the same hospital. At the same time, Your Honor, there is also a risk owing to the time that he has been in custody. There is also a risk that if released, he could intimidate or influence potential witnesses, especially the patients who are there or even the medical staff. And therefore, we are saying he will disturb the integrity of the investigations. Additionally, Your Honor, for his own public safety, allowing him to be discharged before the completion of the investigation again poses a risk to his own life. So that is why we are saying, Your Honor, that the best place for the respondent to be detained is at Kilimani Police Station. To allow the investigations to complete. Your Honor, there is also something critical that came about when the investigations were being conducted, and that is on his name, which the investigation is yet to verify or ascertain from the Registrar of Persons. And therefore, it's our humble submissions that with no place of abode, with no known next of kin or family member, it is important that the investigation does a background check, criminal history verification with his true identity, and if need be, to put any cross-border alerts. Your Honor, owing to those submissions, the gravity of the offense, his risk to public safety, possibility of interfering with witnesses, it is a humble submissions that he remains in custody. That is at Kilimani Police Station for 21 days to allow all that. He was still in the hospital. He had been discharged, yes. we are aware that he's presented a medication because he's suffering from diabetes. So even while still in the hospital, he was receiving some treatment. And since he was arrested, actually, he has been receiving treatment as at when he should. Yes.
I can then have response from council.
Kennedy Kalombotole. He's aged 29 years old. Your Honor, he suffers from 3 known conditions. First condition, diabetes. Second condition, Your Honor, high blood pressure. Third condition, chronic convulsions. Your Honor, the list continues. I may not be privy to much information because the doctor did not disclose everything, but so far,
Yes.
we haven't gotten access to a medical team. But so far, I can confirm that my clients have some most information.
Do you have any reports?
That is
Just a summary at this stage.
at this stage. Your Honor. Towards the end of my submission, I'll be moving the court to pray for a medical report.
All right, continue.
Your Honor, to add insult to injury is what you can call a chokora.
So he has no place of abode.
Exactly. Your Honor. No parents. He's been on and off between the street and the children's home. The million-dollar question before you this morning, Your Honor, are there compelling reasons for our clients to be detained? Pre-charge detention. You know, you've been told that a postmortem needs to be done. You know, the client does not need to be held, detained, for postmortem to be done. Secondly, Your Honor, you have been told that he has no fixed abode. Lack of a fixed abode is not a criminal issue. Being homeless is not a reason to be detained. It is a socio-economic condition. It's not an indicator of guilt or risk. You know, you've also been told that they need to ascertain his name, his identity, so on and so forth. The lack of registration or ID should not be a ground for punitive detention. He does not register himself. It's registered by the government. Reconstruct the scene. Kenyatta National Hospital, a big public facility, is not limited to 7th floor, room 7C. If anything, and I had my learned friend talk about issues that she cannot be detained in Kenyatta National Hospital, so on and so forth. You know. This is a big facility, billions in terms of funding from the government. They cannot get a small room for a small person, a small innocent person. They cannot avail. There is what you call surveillance.
So for you, so that I get it right,
Yes, Your Honor.
you are not opposed to detention.
No,
The issue is the place.
no, yeah. I'm just targeting what they call the place like Kenyatta.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for that clarification. You've been told about mental assessment. If it's done at government level, county level hospital, he does not need to be detained for an assessment to be done. This is shocking. He's been a person of interest of murder from 6/7/2025. 6/7 of the night of 2025, a murder happens, we are told. Sometime in July, another murder happens. 5 months. Would this murder have been avoided, this second murder? Is it an issue of negligence? Investigative negligence?
My lady, where is he going in this line of questioning?
They should just finish.
NPS Act, Section 35 of the NPS Act. It's their work to investigate, DCI. It's them who investigate. It's them who apprehend offenders. You know, being widely publicized in the media is not a ground to consider detention. We have also been told that he's likely to be harmed because of what is out there. Judiciary has held the case of Danson Mgunya, and I'll provide the court with this, the prosecution with this authority. And this is the case of Republic versus Danson Mgunya. And I'm referring the court to, this is page 5. Allegations about safety of accused, possibility of being harmed by the public need to be supported by evidence. Have you seen riots in Kilimani? Have you seen riots in Kenyatta National Hospital? Allegations about public safety, safety of accused, need to be supported by evidence. Second, Your Honor, if anything, this is what the court said. Members of the public are deemed to know the law and the consequences of taking the law into their own hands. Members of the public are deemed to know the law and the consequences of taking the law into their own hands. Pending investigation is not a compelling reason. Pending investigation is not a compelling reason. It has been held. David Mushiri Mwangi, 2018. Justice Wakiaga. That's what he says. A pending investigation is not a compelling reason. It's a murder case. I also supply the court, prosecution with the authority to interfere with prosecution witnesses. For prosecution, this one has been held. Republic versus Dwight Sagarai. For prosecution to persuade court on interference with prosecution witness, it must place material before the court. Have you been told? He has tried to interfere with the nurses in courts, the doctors in courts, the patients. Is an affidavit before you. Dwight Sagarai and 4 others. I also supply the court. Issues about Kenyatta not being enough. that because this incident regrettably occurred, I asked the court to take judicial notice of what happened in the Albert Ojwang case. Has Central Police Station been closed? I say this with humility, Your Honor. Central Police Station is still functioning. Finally, Your Honor, my client is not a flight risk. He is not a danger. In fact, he needs danger to be kept away from him. No Kenyan is too poor. No Kenyan is too sick. No Kenyan is too invisible to deserve justice. We urge Your Honor, pursuant to Article of the Constitution, Article 159(2)(a) of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010. Give my client justice, irrespective of his status. To KNH, let him get his medication. We are not doctors. These are serious conditions. We are concerned as a defense about the health of our clients. That is our basis. If I was to sum all our submissions, the health of our client, let me take him to KNH. There's a file. There are doctors who have been treating him for the period of time he has been a patient. Let him get medication for all these ailments. The court has powers. By the stroke of your pen, if you speak, he'll be readmitted back to Kenya. Justice for all Kenyans. As the motto of the judiciary is, justice be our shield and defender. He can be held there. He can get the medication as they continue the investigations. That is our plea. I may have...
My colleague has actually said, what is before you here is the suspect's right to health. Article 43 provides that every person has the right to the highest attainable standard of health care. If we just on a police station deprives him of this particular right, he was receiving medical care, which is not disputed. And with all these particular conditions, if, for example, today he starts having conversions, what's the distance between Kilimani Police Station and KNH? It means we might lose a life that ought not to have been lost. Let us not risk with the life of a person. One life to lose is too many to be lost.
He cannot be discharged.
Yes, there's no discharge form that has even been issued to you to show that this particular person has been discharged. And even what was circulated is that it was circulated that he was arrested at Kenyatta. So there's no even single discharge form that has been produced to you before this particular court to actually show that it was indeed he was discharged. The other reason that we want to say that he ought not to be incarcerated in any critical prison is that, number one, doctors lack medical expertise and facilities. So we can't risk his life just because of we want him to incarcerate him there and overlook that. Number two, there's a risk that if we place him there, his health might deteriorate. We are not assured of the standards that is going to be kept, the level of cleanliness standards that is going to be kept, and the hygiene standards that are going to be kept. We might find us in a situation whereby his health is exacerbated by the condition is going to be placed there. So with all that particular all in mind, let the medical report be filed. But as we wait for the police to conduct the investigation, let him be placed in custody at Kenyatta Hospital. where he was continuing receiving treatment. It will under Article 28, just to be denied continuance of seeking medical care because of an alleged incident that has happened, that it is not pointed directly to him, whereby he's still a suspect. In the event maybe the prosecution side finished their investigations and they find that the suspect is not even involved, and we have cut short his medical treatment, that is time that will not be able to recover. So we plead with you that let this gentleman be incarcerated be placed in custody at Kenyatta Hospital, pending any further investigations. And
that is just one of the compelling reasons as to why before his release, then the investigation need to know he's releasing him to whom, and in case he's required for further
requesting he be returned to where he was receiving treatment. We have not said that he be released out there.
Yes.
Where he was continuing getting medical attention.
Yes. So you can respond?
Yes, Your Honor, my submissions actually, that was my next point. And Your Honor, we are saying owing to the gravity of the offense, and also owing to the therefore not possible for the respondent to be taken back to Kenyatta National Hospital, we that he has been admitted since November, but he was still in hospital for reasons best known to the facility, Your Honor. So we have no, unless we get an order from court to be able to provide that medical report, then Your Honor, we cannot provide a medical report because that is taken as personal data. Therefore, we will be allowed to file that report procedurally. And Your Honor, the reason that his right to health is being violated or will be violated in case he's held at the police station, Your Honor, we are also talking about somebody's life who has been cut short. We have lost a life, which right is guaranteed under Article 26. So whereas he has a right, he's here, we can see his right protected, been held in the police custody. He has been receiving treatment. So I have it, he has been receiving treatment. It is here, it is present before court, maybe for the benefit of the court. Yes, Your Honor, because it is all the way from 19th of July, that was the day before yesterday, 20th of July, that was yesterday. He has actually been receiving treatment. I have evidence before this honorable court.
She had mentioned, remember?
Even if he will be held at the police station, Your Honor, he will be taken for treatment. The investigation team is aware that there is some treatment which he is currently undergoing, and that is what I say, diabetes. He will receive that treatment. As to the reports, yes, the Nairobi Women's Hospital. As to the new allegations that he's suffering from so many other diseases, Your Honor, nothing has been presented before this honorable court to support that position, not unless counsel wants to get the consent from the complainant. But as far as the submissions that have been made before you, Your Honor, we do not have, or we are not privy to those other medications is currently or are currently being administered on him.
Your Honor, we are it's the hospital that has privacy issues.
This
report has, how has it been obtained?
Let her finish.
How has it been having? Because we have been also getting a challenge to get a report.
I don't know why counsel is really opposed to a medical report belonging to his client. He's actually supposed to be taking this medication twice a day, which he has been receiving. There he's here, and he has confirmed that he's actually even supposed to be getting his 10 o'clock shot because he gets 2 in a day. So not unless counsel is also disputing that that is not the position.
So he's not taking.
He hasn't taken for today. He's actually supposed to be on his way to hospital from here, Your Honor.
And he had several conditions. I don't see any attachment in terms of a file. It's supposed to be something that can brief you, that can bring you up to speed. This is a handwritten document by someone called Ruth Mulwa. There is nothing like even Dr. Ruth Mulwa. So we don't know, is this a clinical officer? Kenyatta has the best specialists in the country. All these conditions, you are seen by a specialist. You're not seen by a clinical officer. Yeah, you're not seen by a clinical officer, you're seen by a specialist, someone who has specialties in internal medicine, a physician. And it brings me to my earlier point, the health of my client. Nairobi Women's Hospital, Kenyatta, are all hospitals. Yeah. Thank you.
The thing that you're saying is that this person is issued at Kenyatta, or someone is now administering his own new drugs. We know that, like diabetes, it is based on how the doctor has diagnosed you. You can't just go and receive injection based on how I've just related to it. They ought to have brought in a full medical report where he was receiving his medication. Number two, we are not sure whether they are continuing with the same medication that they are giving him at Kenyatta, or they have started him on a new medication, because hospital differs. They prescribe different medications. So they may be injecting him with other medication that are not suitable for him. And that's why we are saying, let him be returned back to Kenyatta who was receiving it. It is quite very unfortunate that you say that since someone is suspected of committing a crime, we can decide to yank off his right to health and say that one can be posed. And we can now say, since he's a suspect, we can pose that particular right to health and say, we are going now to go and apply other measures. The right to health cannot be limited because it's intertwined with 3 other issues.
That's okay, Council. You had submitted on that.
Okay.
Hospital and Nairobi Women's Hospital. How soon can we get that? That would help me to make an informed decision on the matter.
The request is made today for the hospitals to get reports. We probably have it in by Thursday. If we are going to get from Kenyatta and then we are going to get from Nairobi Women's, we need to give them time to make proper reports.
Yes, because it would really be important to know whether he had been discharged.
Yes, indeed.
If not, at which stage he was at in terms of treatment, what was keeping him still at the hospital, things like those. It will help me to make an informed decision.
It's a complex report, so probably a bit of time for that.
It doesn't have to go into details, just something that you would understand quickly. And also we need to know what treatment he is receiving, just generally,
Yes,
considering also the issue of privacy, what can be revealed
yes,
in this case. So which branch of Nairobi Women's Hospital?
Melody, it's Halligan, Nairobi Women's Hospital, Halligan. And Kenyatta National Hospital. Both letters can be addressed. The others can be addressed to the CA. Kenyatta National Hospital, CA.
He has been at Kilimani police station?
Yes.
So given that there is conflicting information as to whether the respondent had been discharged from Kenyatta National Hospital or not, and the court has been given information that he is continuing with treatment even after he had been arrested, I'm making an order for a medical report to be availed from Kenyatta National Hospital on the treatment of the accused person, of the suspect, whether he'd been discharged or not, and whether he was continuing with any treatment. Let me also get a report from Nairobi Women's Hospital, Hurlingham branch, as to the treatment of the suspect up until now. This will help the court to make an informed decision on the matter. So meanwhile, in view of the fact that we've been informed that he's still receiving treatment, he will still be held at Kilimani police station as he receives that treatment that he has been receiving until further orders of the court. So for that reason, then we will have to mention this matter on the 24th of July. This is this week on Thursday. Have a good afternoon.
No,